everybody was watching you and supporting you, and just unreal, so it was.
Silver medalist representing Ireland.
Come on, Kenneth, smile. This is your life.
It is a small country we live in, 4.5 million people. And to go out there and mix it with the best in the world and come home with a medal. And to think the 5 boxers that did travel, 3 medals out of 5, but we all got beaten by the eventual winners.
If there was a certain reluctance within the IABA initially to the idea of paying coaches and boxers in what was supposed to be an amateur sport, there was another seismic change afoot that would shake the organisation to its core. As the IABA drew towards the end of its first century, it had to face up to an issue that wouldn't even have crossed the minds of its founding fathers: girls.
I think a lot of clubs did not have women involved at any level, like a mother being there or a female secretary. And just the fact of bringing in 1 or 2 young girls in this very male-dominated area didn't feel really safe, and there was not a tradition of how to deal with the girls. And then I think there was a kind of fear as well. How do we treat girls that might get hurt? How much will they cry? Can the girls actually take this hard sport?
The old stadium on the South Circular Road in Dublin has witnessed all the greats of Irish boxing, from Jimmy Ingle back in the 30s to crack high-performance teams of modern times. But if there's one fight that changed the course of Irish amateur boxing history, it was on an October night in 2001, when a 15-year-old from Bray stepped between the ropes for the first women's bout to be staged in Ireland.
It was very nerve-wracking, I can remember, and I think I brought a big crowd in with me as well, and my whole family were there, and all my friends, and it was just a huge night for women's boxing, really, in the country. It was the first official fight.
I didn't understand the makeup of a woman to be argued about. I would think, what happens if you get blows on your chest? But of course there's protection, and of course there's everything out. That's silly of me and uneducated of me to worry about that. And also women who didn't box in general, and they swung more than they punched. See Katie Taylor? She is unbelievable. I mean, she really is something else.
I was boxing for years and years without actually kind of getting a fight, really. I was just kind of training with all the guys, and I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest. I was involved in so many other sports at that time as well, so this was kind of something to help me in those sports as well. And I just thought I found it so enjoyable, and I loved it from the start, really.
Just see her on the pads. She'd take your shoulder off. All strictly boxing skills. Jab, jabs, cross, cross, jab, body punches, head. She's special. I don't think many of the fellas would fancy taking her on, to be honest.
Simple, honey, I'm a fine boy, no pimples. I done deja vu.
It's definitely been a great few years for me, and what I've done in the sport, it's brought me to a lot of, I suppose, new experiences as well. To film a big Lucas Aid advert and such a big production with Tiny Temp and Travis Barker, it's people who I never thought I'd meet in a lifetime, so I'm just blessed to be, I suppose, a part of the sport and the life that's given me.
The IABA celebrated its centenary in 2011, and the elite boxers of the High Performance Unit, boasting an array of European, world and Olympic medalists, arrived for the national championships with the added incentive that a place at the London Olympics was on the line. The big story was expected to be Kenny Egan, winning an Irish title for the 11th time. But the 2011 championships will always be remembered for the emergence of a new star.
I went in there as the underdog, but I really was relaxing in there because I knew who I was facing, like, to me. I knew, like, that he's a really, really top athlete who I was getting against, like, and All I have to do now is go in and perform. If the right result came on, I win the fight, like, and I'd probably be recognised for beating him for years, like.
I can't forget the dignity of Kenny Egan losing to Joe Ward in that great fight, and how he handled it, and how just dignified and decent he was at the end of it. I thought he got a harsh deal in the fight. I felt the warnings were harsh. To me, he was already, my feelings about him, my thoughts about him were of huge respect, but he went up in my estimation 10 times as a result of the defeat, as much of his great victories.
I only realise now what the fight meant to me. If I didn't have to win the fight, I probably wouldn't have been able in the Europeans. European probably wouldn't be able to go into the qualifiers.
And years to come, when you're doing an interview with somebody, and I'm long gone, there'll be somebody saying, and you mark my words, there's a fella called Joe Ward, and he was one of the greatest ever.
So the IABA embarks on a second century as one of the major nations in the sport. The days of the brave Irish boxer stepping into the ring as an underdog, fighting for an upset against an American, Cuban or Russian, are over. The sport is much the same as it was a century ago, with scores of volunteers, come rain or shine, opening up village halls and inner-city gyms around the country. The difference now is that amateur boxing in Ireland is basking in a golden glow.
There are people of my age group will tell you, oh, there were great days. There'll never be another era like Jerry Coleman and Perry and Teat and all those. But listen, I want to tell you the facts. This is the golden age. Not alone have we got the seniors, not alone have we've got juniors, we've got youths winning the world championships.
My dad says sometimes champions are born. I believe that they are, but most of them are made. You have to want it, you have to breathe it, you have to eat it, you have to, everything that goes with it to become a champion.
The structures that they've set up for producing champions here is a model that many other sports could follow. But I don't think anyone will be able to match the achievements of the high performance boxing unit in Ireland.
I firmly believe that the sluice gates, as far as talent is concerned, have yet to be fully opened in Ireland. Because you have young boxers in the four corners of this country who have yet to be discovered. And if they are tapped into the system that has been put in place by the amateur authorities to date and by the Olympic Council of Ireland, I have no doubt that for a long time to come we will have success.